The story opens with flames swallowing the village, smoke choking the sky, nothing left but ashes. In the middle of it all, a little girl screams, clutching her wounded brother, begging, "Please, don't die, don't leave me alone." His body is torn apart by fire, and beside them lies a young man and a dog, both collapsed with terrible injuries. Suddenly, a shadowy figure appears beside the boy and whispers, "If you want to live, you must choose." 5 years later, deep in the forest, we see a boy splashing in the water, but a huge beast rises from beneath him. He panics until it turns out to be just his friend playing around. Then a crow lands and drops a strange orb into his hand. He stares at it closely, and an eye snaps open inside, glaring right at him. Shocked, he screams, throws it far away, and falls back trembling. A frog suddenly speaks, "Listen, kid, weird things are happening. Evil spirits are moving near the village." This boy has roamed the forest so much that animals talk with him like old friends. Back home, he finds food waiting on the table, his stomach growling. He devours everything, only to clutch his belly in pain. His caretaker smirks. "Don't worry, it's made with insect water, turtle blood, and a few secrets I won't tell you." He freezes in horror, paralyzed in his chair. Another scene. A strict guardian visits a boy named Kenta. His father smacks him hard, roaring, "You burn books! You skip school!" Kenta shouts back, "Then let the guardian teach me instead!" Another smack silences him. But here's the truth. His brother by adoption is none other than Shin, the boy from the fire. The father storms off, leaving the tension boiling. Outside, the forest stirs. Kenta walks alone. Shadows slither between the trees. One even looks like Shin. Impossible. He runs, screaming in terror. At the same time, the church moves. Their leader whispers about hunting a man named Murasame, and far away, a commander has only one goal: capture Yami, no matter the cost. The very next day, boom, 5 masked men appear. They claim they were sent by the church to escort Shin and the Guardian, but something feels off. The Guardian glares, "These men? They're not from the church." The leader of the masked men laughs darkly. "You're right, our master only wanted to test your strength." Shin's eyes widen, voice trembling. "So this was all a trap?" The masked man taunts, "You want this? Then come on, you and him." At once, Shino raises his hand and unleashes a strange force. Within the blink of an eye, a glowing bird erupts from his palm and strikes, wiping the enemies out as if they never existed. But the danger doesn't fade, because moments later, Kenta runs breathlessly to Susuke shouting, "Do you know what happened yesterday? 3 boys from the village vanished. No one knows where they went, and when I was walking home I saw a ghost. It looked exactly like me." Shino's face hardens. He orders sharply, "Go home. From now on, don't show your face here and don't ever step near the forest again." Kenta stares in shock, confused. "Why? Are you hiding something from me?" But Susuke cuts in coldly. "Shino is right. Stay away from the forest. Don't come here again." Anger boils in Kenta. He tears the necklace Susuke gave him, throws it to the ground, and storms away. Cut. Deep inside the enemy camp, we see Kanam, leader of the masked men. One of his followers kneels before him, apologizing, "I couldn't capture Shino. His power shocked me." Kaname only smirks, replying, "Don't trouble yourself. We'll bring him to us, even if it's against his will." Back to Susuke, who meets Hajime, the girl waiting anxiously. She asks, "Any news? Did you find him?" He shakes his head, "No. Someone never made it home at all." Hajime then reveals the necklace she found outside the house, whispering, "The moment Shino saw it, he ran off. I don't know where he went." Alarm spreads in Susuke's eyes. He bolts into the forest, muttering, "No one must see me like this," and instantly transforms into a wolf, racing into the shadows. At the same time, Shino reaches Kenta, only to freeze. The boy is trapped in a giant spider web, struggling helplessly. And worse, the ghost Kenta described is real, standing there with Shino's exact face, the way he looked 5 years ago. Before the shock can sink in, a monstrous spider beast appears, the ghost perched atop it. Kenta faints instantly, paralyzed by terror. The beast lunges. Susuke arrives just in time, but the fight is brutal. Shino steps forward, summoning his inherited power. The bird he called before reappears and transforms into a gleaming sword. With a single strike, Shino slices off the monster's arm and destroys it completely. Victory is theirs, and they carry Kenta safely home. But when they return, horror awaits. Hajime is gone. Just as feared, Kaname is behind it. And here's the cruel truth. Those masked men from earlier, they were church agents all along. The church wants both Shino and Susuke. Shino for his Moru power, Susuke for his Yusha power. Hajime has been taken as a hostage, a bargaining chip to force them to surrender. Meanwhile, in Kaname's palace, Hajime is treated like royalty. lavish food, fine clothes, even fox servants attending her. But the comfort is only a cage. The next day, the scene cuts sharply back to Shino and Susuke. They've been called to the capital, to the headquarters of the church itself. Church staff await them, leading them toward the wise men. And then, an unexpected arrival. Ryo Satomi, the high commander of the church, steps forward personally. Shino, where have you been? I've grown tired of waiting for you. The church delegation gasps. How could Satomi himself be here? A man of such high rank greeting them directly. He smiles coldly and explains, no need for surprise. I came to welcome my guests. Anything related to the survivors of Otsuka village is of great importance to me. But just as he finishes those words, something far stranger begins to unfold. Satomi escorts Shino and Susuke in his carriage to a small house, telling them calmly, I'm busy today, so tomorrow we'll continue our talk, and then I'll take you to my attacker. He leaves them there and goes for a walk in the city with his bird flying overhead. A little later, he glances toward Muresim and casually says, go call Susuke, then come back, we'll walk together. But as he stands in peace, he is ambushed by a man named Kubo, who strikes him down and makes him lose consciousness. It becomes clear Kubo was fighting with the priests, furious because they had captured his brother. The priests defend themselves, claiming the one they caught isn't human at all, but a demon. At that moment, Kubo's father arrives, apologizing to the priests for his son's behavior. Soon after, Kubo and his father take the unconscious Shino, patch up his wounds, and whisper among themselves, who is this boy? Look at the strange marks on his arm. Shino eventually regains consciousness, and to make peace after the blow to his head, they even take him to a restaurant. When Shino leaves, he heads back to the house Satomi gave him. The next morning, Susuke rises early to get breakfast, while Shino stays in bed, until he jolts awake, staring into the face of a giant wolf. His fear fades only when he realizes this wolf belongs to Satomi. Shino then says quietly to Satomi, it's been 5 years since the last time we met. Satomi smirks, so you remember me. But what about Susuke? Has he forgotten, or is he just pretending to live his role? Shino admits, no, Susuke doesn't remember anything since the fire. That fire, the one that wiped out their entire village, left only Shino, Susuke, and Hajime alive. And it was Satomi who saved them that night. Satomi leans closer to Shino and mocks, so you paid such a price to wield Murasame? In other words, you'll stay a child forever, never growing up. Shino shoves him away angrily, snapping, enough. But Satomi continues, reminding him, by the way, no one truly knows the real identity of Murasame, even now. Satomi then leads Shino and Susuke to the palace where Hajime is kept, and the moment Hajime sees Shino, she hurls a shoe straight at his face, shouting, where have you been all this time, huh? Right after, Kaname appears, greeting them with a sly smile. Welcome to the palace of one of the 4 demon clans. He guides them through the city, showing off its splendor. Cut. The scene shifts to Kubo's brother, Genpachi, bound tightly in chains. Before him stands Siran, the elder priest, who sneers, enough hiding, show me your true form. Reveal the demon inside you. Stop playing this human act. Genpachi refuses, glaring in silence. Siran explodes with rage, summoning a swarm of ravenous insects. They attack instantly, tearing at Genpachi's flesh as he screams in agony, pain beyond imagination. Back at Shino and Susuke's quarters, tension rises. Susuke asks Shino again, what's your connection to Satomi? Shino falls quiet, hesitating, then says softly, honestly, it's a secret. Don't worry, it has nothing to do with you. Susuke's face hardens. What do you mean nothing to do with me? Are you hiding something from me? Shino can't resist those piercing eyes. At last he confesses, 5 years ago, maybe you and Hajime don't remember, but the one who saved us in the Otsuka village fire, when we were about to die, was Satomi. Susuke freezes, shocked. Are you serious? Shino nods, continuing. From that day, I told Satomi I'd repay the favor someday. That's why I said this matter doesn't involve you. Furious, Susuke slams Shino onto the bed and growls, so Satomi was the one who implanted Murasame's power inside you. He was the only reason you survived that night. The truth is harsh. Shino may have survived, but the price was eternal. His body will remain that of a child for as long as he lives. The next day, Shino and Susuke walk together on their way to meet Satomi, when suddenly, bam, someone crashes down on Shino out of nowhere. It's Kubo, the same man who had fallen on him before. Shino groans in disbelief. What's your story, man? Is it only me you keep landing on? In fact, Kubo had been fighting with the city guards, trying to rescue his brother, but they ignored him and tossed him out. By sheer misfortune, Shino became his landing spot again. Feeling guilty, Kubo takes Shino and Susuke back to his home, wanting to help as atonement. There, his mother greets them with worry when she sees the fresh bruise on Shino's head from the fall. They spend the day together, and by evening as they prepare to leave, Shino glares at Kubo and says, tell me the truth. What's your deal? Everywhere I go, you show up, and you always fall on me. Do you You only have me in this whole world to crash into, and every time you're in trouble with someone. Kubo sighs and admits, the problem is with the Shogetsu shrine. They're holding my brother prisoner. But just as he begins to reveal more, he stops himself, unwilling to share details, and storms away. Shino and Susuke collect themselves and finally reach Satomi. Susuke confronts him directly. Tell us the truth. Why did you summon us? What exactly do you want from us? Without hesitation, Satomi produces 2 glowing beads and hands them to Shino. These beads are bound to the powers of Shino and Susuke, each bead representing one of them. Satomi explains, since I have 2 here, that means 6 others remain. Together they make the 8 beads of Fushi and Hime, and each one belongs to a person who carries a demonic spirit. Shino stares, dumbfounded, unable to process it. You've got to be joking. How are we supposed to find 6 beads among all these people? Satomi looks calmly at Susuke, who says coldly, so what you want is to gather the other bead holders. Satomi nods. Exactly. Without another word, Susuke leaves, unwilling to stay any longer. Cut. The scene shifts to Genpachi, Kubo's brother, still bound and tormented by the swarm of insects Saran unleashed. His body writhes, shredded by pain, until his rage boils over and he transforms into a massive demon, breaking free and destroying the place before flying off. Back in the city, as Shino and Susuke walk the streets, the monstrous Genpachi appears before them. The demon glares at Shino and snarls, "Come here, boy! Tonight, I'll feast on you." Shino immediately decides to lure the demon outside the city to keep civilians safe. He runs, the beast chasing him furiously, while Susuke transforms into his wolf form and dashes after them. At last, Shino halts, summoning the power of Murasame. The cursed sword gleams in his hand as the demon grabs him by the throat in a crushing grip. But at that moment, Genpachi's human memories surge back. Flashes of his old life torment him. His grip weakens and he releases Shino, screaming in agony, clutching his head. Shino realizes in shock, this demon is human at his core. Genpachi writhes, caught between forms. Just then Saran arrives with his men. Spotting Shino, he snarls, "So you're the vessel of Murasame, aren't you? Where is your master hiding?" Shino doesn't flinch. He smirks and mocks him. "And what makes you so special? You're nothing better than me. You're just a bald-headed priest." Saran's face twists with fury. He orders his men to fire a volley of arrows. The target is Genpachi, who takes the brunt of the attack, arrows piercing his body. And as one arrow flies straight towards Shino, at the very last moment, Susuke leaps in front of Shino and takes the arrow himself. With no other choice, the two of them dive off the bridge into the river below, escaping death by a hair's breadth.